Alrighty, here we go again. I've swapped out my stone. This is the 3000 Shapton Glass stone. That's the grit size. The higher the number, the finer the polish. I'm not doing a lot of heavy work, so I took out that split glove and we're just going from there. Wet the stone. Again, wet and go. Great stones. I'm just going to do a little bit of the flattening of the bevel. I'm not flattening anymore, I'm just polishing off those grooves from the first polishing. Or, not polishing. And the finer grit takes off metal faster, but leaves a little bit of polish. Here's where you have to really, when you're getting that, you really have to keep an eye on your stone and the feel of your stone. It can gum up really quickly. Yeah, think of it as taking the tops of the grinds off. We're basically taking the tops of the mountains off. Trying to get into a plane. I think when you're taking them off that fast, it gets gummy, and you'll feel it. It won't feel consistent on the stone anymore. It'll feel bumpy, slippery. It's soft iron that we're actually grinding here, so it wants to come off fast, and it comes up fast. Once you get out above about 1000 grit, you're no longer cutting as much as you are polishing. When I'm doing straight razors, I set the bevel with the 1000, polish up that initial bevel with this 3000, and from there it goes to my natural stones. For my kitchen knives, I do them all on this. Yeah, it's not as bad. It feels smoother. But it's still, not gonna bother that glass anymore. Now I've taken the tops of the mountains off, and now we're actually getting that cleaned up. You can see a slight bit of shine there, different texture to the steel. What that's going to do is help with the food just sliding through. Flip it over, start anew. Do you need an elaborate setup like this? No, that's not even really all that elaborate. But you do need, but it does help. You do need the stone, a way to secure it, and the fundamentals are more important than the equipment. You can get the exact same results from kingstones as you do from Shaptons here, Nortons, Arkansas. time and ability make up a little bit more of that equation. But having those fundamentals down, keeping the consistent stroke, keeping the stones flat. I'm beginning to think that this one isn't flat. See how you go through that stroke? You got a white spot right there in the middle. Can't feel it, but it's ever so slightly there. That means that my polishing is not going to be consistent. I'm going to get wiggles in it. Does that matter to everybody? No. I've got friends that make perfectly decent edges on dish stones. Is it something I would want to use? Probably not. But it works for them. And I'm not going to tell them they're bass-ackwards just because their preferred method of doing something is different than mine. Will their edges be consistent? No. Will it still cut a chicken? Yeah. So, that's one thing you have to decide what you want to do. What I can tell you is if you do get into Japanese knives, you're basically upgrading your tool use. Because you're upgrading your tool use, you should upgrade your skill and your precision. If you're going to upgrade your precision, then you start looking into the better tools, better equipment, and how to take care of it properly. Okay, now I'm going to work on that edge a little bit. It doesn't take much. That bevel's already set. So now I'm just polishing out those 1000 grit grooves with 3000 grit grooves. And again, you're feeling for that burr, and it's going to be real small. After this, I pretty much don't worry about burrs, because you get to the really finer stones. Either it's my fingers that I just can't feel the burr on those really, really, really fine stones, but I just don't worry about them as much. But for your average kitchen knife, say like a Western knife, you never go beyond this stone here. The steel can't handle that edge. Would I recommend back beveling? You know, doing all up here? Hell yeah. Clean stone. And more stropping method. Now for my uses, I'm happy where this knife is. It's going to take care of those bone ends and do just fine. Yeah, what did I do with my towel this time? Again, clean it off. Is there a lot more to it? Hell yeah. This is just one small piece of what sharpening is. The amount you put into it, time, attention, energy, will show if your fundamentals are there. I don't know how much you can see that, and because of my work on the bevel and the thinning part, yeah, sure, it doesn't look all that spiffy. Now, this is a carbon steel edge, and it's going to patina when I cut anything with it, which means this is all going to turn beautiful colors. This is one thing I love about carbon steel. So you have to decide, oh yeah, what you want out of your knife. Yeah, if you're looking at the knife as a utilitarian tool and your lower grade steel is fine for you, and all you want to do is just get that edge on there, a few strokes on your oil stone or carborundum oil stone, holding those consistent angles, checking for that burr, and making sure that you're taking that edge from something that looks like this. That thinning we did was bringing that to that. Now when you put that edge on there, it's going to cut. It's going to cut nice. When you have a burr, you're going to feel a little bit of something over there, and you just drop that off, do the other side until you feel something over there. Consistent edge. And from there, you can polish it up on higher and higher grit stones, and the knife will literally fall through the food. This one's so heavy that even just the weight of it would fall through if I polished it. I wouldn't even have to move it front or back. It's just conk. So that's my first video on thinning and sharpening of a lesser degree. As I go up in my videos, I'll eventually be polishing a single bevel blade, and that's kind of the plateau of many sharpeners. So till next time, hope you enjoy.